know, I just do this because my mom, aunt, both sisters had breast cancer, and we were part of the original breast cancer gene studies. And all my life, since my aunt died of breast cancer in our home when I was 5, I've been focused on how do I figure out the truth about food and how do I avoid being like everybody else in our family. And I was often told by doctors, you got to do things differently or you will be like everybody else in your family. So that's why I do this. I'm heading out to Ohio next week, and I think there's like 10 meetup groups in Ohio that are sponsoring me there, and I'm just going to travel from one end of the state to the other. That's the kind of thing I do. So when I get around to sending out a newsletter, I will, and I just try and make it meaningful, and I appreciate you signing up for it. Okay, so we're going to do 2 recipes tonight. First of all, how many of you would say that you are vegan pretty much of the time? Okay. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, thinking about it. Yeah.
No, I've been there and back and forth.
Half-baked, vegan, you know, people give me all kinds of responses to that. But I just wanted to kind of check in with you to see where you are, so I know if I need to do a hard sell or if you're already doing it. How many of you have gone to holidays like Memorial Day, barbecues, and things like that, where you're like the only vegan? Anybody? Okay.
Well,
So
I'm fussy.
Yeah, fussy, the fussy eater. Okay. So how do you deal with it?
We're the outcasts, so at least this is my daughter, so we can bring our own food. We just bring what we eat. We still do that.
Or eat before I go. That's
Yeah.
usually when I just stay in bed. And then
Yeah.
Every weekend we're doing family
sometimes you
stuff.
can find like a really dried up veggie tray that you can kind of snack on, and that's about it.
Yes, I like to quote Dr. John McDougall, who says, you know, if you go to one of these events where you are the only vegan and there's not much for you to eat, you won't starve to death in 3 hours. Either one of the things I do is like keep some beans and grains made in the fridge and just eat before I go out, so I'm not ravenous. At least I try to do that. I was always the designated salad bringer, and that's another way to ensure that you get what you want. In my book, Eat Vegan on $4 a day, it was actually, we did start out with a title that was Eat Well on $3 a day. But I have 3 veggie burger recipes in there, and this is one of them. This is the Brilliant Tofu Burger. I actually have been playing around with the different recipes, and I find that if you make even though this recipe you can just blend it all mix it all in a bowl, but if you do it in a food processor, it tends to be a little more cohesive and sticky, and it cooks up better. Also, I have this cool cookware. It's not non-stick. I'm using a double negative. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. So I am going to use just a skosh of oil because otherwise it really sticks to the stainless. And this is actually stainless and titanium here, so very non-reactive. That's why I bought it, and I love it. And it's just, I think, a good way to kind of ensure that the metals don't leach into your food if you believe in that kind of thing. And so we'll do the veggie burgers as well as the checkbook-saving mint bean salad. So we are, I think I'll start cooking up the burgers first, and we'll go ahead and start with the batter there. So we've got the tofu. Okay, the tofu we're going to put in here. The oats. We've got some old-fashioned slow cooking oats. And you can use really any kind of tofu with this. This is light, firm. You just don't want to use the real soft tofu because then it'll be very mushy. So either firm or extra firm. And then we're going to add some barbecue sauce and make sure it is vegan. Organic is always good. We're going to use 1½ tablespoons. And just in case you believe those who say that ketchup is a vegetable, I don't know about that. I'm hoping that you're really going to get...
That's this ketchup?
This is barbecue sauce. So it's made out of, basically the base is ketchup. So the ingredients are, because I know you would ask, water, organic sugar, organic distilled vinegar, tomato concentrate, organic tapioca starch, that kind of makes it thick. Salt, organic molasses, a little sweetener, much better than high fructose corn syrup, just saying. Organic garlic, organic ground mustard seed, natural smoke flavor, organic black pepper, and red
What
pepper.
is organic sugar?
Organic sugar just means it hasn't been grown with pesticides. That's the summary definition of organic. And also, in this country, to get the stamp of approval, there are certain requirements, like it has to be grown in an area that is not subjected to drift. So, in other words, if your farm is next to another farm that does use pesticides, it's got to be so far away that the wind doesn't carry it into the
I hadn't
organic
thought
produce.
about sugar cane needing
Yeah,
to be
exactly,
organic.
exactly. Well, almost everything, it would seem, these days could be organic. And all of the produce here is organic,
100%.
100%, so just saying. What that means is, you know, there might be a few blemishes or spots, but as the Joni Mitchell song goes, give me spots on my apples, but feed me the birds and the bees. So that is your singing entertainment for the night. But she wrote that song, thank you. I'm not quitting my day job just yet. But, you know, it's okay to have little spots and blemishes. And, of course, the shelf life may not be as long, but that is a real indicator that food is organic. And sometimes, you know, I look at, like, strawberries in particular. If a strawberry lasts in my refrigerator for a week, I question whether it really is organic.
Yeah.
So, is anybody else picking that up? Observing that? So, it's just an interest, not from here, but just some other places that I have bought allegedly organic strawberries. I remember actually when I worked in Miami in 1980 or so, you would go into a grocery store and you would see that strawberries, this was before I guess they started really dousing them with pesticides, but you know, it was not uncommon to see strawberries on the shelf that were already starting to mold. So I think I don't know what's going on out there, I'm just sort of throwing it out there. But again, not here, just other places I have been. So, all right, so we are adding back to the tofu, the rolled oats, and we've done the barbecue sauce and mustard seeds, or in this case, we're going to use just some mustard powder. So whatever you can get, 1.5 tablespoons. We'll go with a 1/2 tablespoon marker here, because we've already used the tablespoon. So that's 1, 2, and 3. I think they measured it out just perfectly. Love it. Then we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, or you can use tamari. This is tamari, 50% less sodium. Basically, they do that just by diluting it with water. Or at least 1.5. Put it there. And then the next ingredient is vegan Worcestershire sauce. I can't tell you how often I see they add oysters to different sauces, and especially Worcestershire sauce. So you have to look for either the word vegan on the front of it, or just read the ingredients, which is very simple. Here it says on the back in the small print, certified organic and vegan. So there you've got it. And it's just simply water, apple cider vinegar, molasses, that gives it a nice dark rich color. Soy sauce, which is water soybeans, wheat, alcohol, cane sugar, tamarind, sea salt, cornstarch, xanthan gum, garlic, onion, clove, chili pepper. So there you go. And we are adding 1.5 tablespoons. Oh, okay, there it is. And a loaded tablespoon. Yeah, a nice liquidy sauce there. Okay. And then a dash of cayenne, because that really picks up the flavor, add a little fire. Do we have anybody who's really opposed to cayenne? Okay, all right. But we will just do a couple of pinches for the whole recipe. We won't overwhelm you guys. All right, 4 pinches. Okay, I think that that is it. We are ready to put the top on and have some fun. We don't have an extension cord with 2 outlets, so we are switching so the burner can work. Once we get the burgers going, we will move on to the salad. And we're using just a little bit of oil to keep the burgers from sticking. We'll let that heat up. And I have prepared as a starter different kinds of lettuces. We have romaine and then red leaf lettuce. And we are going to add to that a couple of cucumbers. Do we have anybody who doesn't like skins on their cucumbers? Oh, never heard of anybody not wanting skin on the cucumbers? Let me introduce you to my husband.
Yes.
At least your husband eats cucumbers.
Yes, that is true. I was about to
Little
say.
Debbie's for dinner.
Yes, I was about to say my ex-husband does not eat cucumbers or anything green. What is it with guys and green things?
My husband was a wonderful gardener, so we had everything good on that farm.
And I think that makes a huge difference.
Except he wouldn't eat broccoli.
So I'm using my ceramic knives here. They're very sharp, which I like. You can get these on Amazon or even other stores whose names I will not mention. Have them. And you know, they vary. I was actually, before you all came in, I was speaking to the head chef here and I was asking him what his favorite knife was. It was a name I did not recognize, but he said, he agreed with me that the ceramic knives often, they're not good for industrial use, I'll just put it that way, that they can break, and they are really wonderfully sharp, and I like that more than any stainless knife I've ever had. However, if I start to see that they chip, they are gone. You just have to watch that. You can kind of hold them up for the light and see if there's any kind of edge or chip into it. They also have mandolins, however you like to say that. Anybody have one? A mandolin? Yeah. So that'll cut it real fast. Sort of like almost a carrot slicer, but you can cut any vegetable on it. And they often have ceramic blades as well. All right, let's get, I'm gonna get this messy. Let's cut up the rest of the cucumber here. I like to prepare different kinds of salads that are very colorful, especially when I'm going out to somebody else's house. People really ooh and ah the different colors. I think especially in a meat-eating environment, they may not be used to all these different colors of the rainbow. That's what we say. Eat the colors of the rainbow. I also encourage eating outside. as much as possible because that really makes the colors pop. I'm always amazed when I do that, how much more colorful the foods seem to be. All right, let's get our veggies going here. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. I will need my napkins here. All right, let's move back to the salad. And the next thing we're going to do is cut the mint. And how many of you grow mint at home? Anybody? Good? Not anymore, okay. So you can buy it here. So what we'll do is stack up the leaves. I picked it from the plant I grew all day long here. If you put these in an earth box, anybody have earth boxes? Wonderful. They'll grow like a weed because actually mint is a weed. So we have stacked up the mint like this, and we're just going to roll it from one side to the other. Kind of like, I'll just say a cigarette. Not that I have any experience with that, I am just saying. So this is called the chiffonade cut, and you cut it on an angle, just in thin strips. This is where the ceramic knife is lovely, so we just sprinkle it all over the salad. There you go. Now, if you really want to, cut out the stems, you can, but it's just a little bit more fiber, so we're really not adding a whole lot of indigestible fiber there. And it just makes it easier to cut and prepare if you leave it in. And you've got your mint. All right, next we're going to be adding some onions. I don't like to overpower the salad, so I'm only going to use about half of the onion, and I'm trying to cut really thin slices here. I will also use a few of these just for your burgers too. So I sliced the onion in half, and then I've cut vertically, and then I'm going to cut across the grain so we get nice small pieces and nobody chokes on one huge piece of onion. When I put a salad together, I try to design it like I'm using it for almost an artist palette, so that it looks really pretty for the presentation, and then you mix it all up. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Let's flatten these out a bit now that they have stuck. And now we're going to make the dressing, and we'll start with the garlic cloves. Now, these are a beautiful kind of garlic. I didn't ask what they are, but I'm not sure I've seen red garlic like that. Anybody know what kind that is specifically?
I've seen it, yeah.
You've seen it? Yeah. Usually the garlic I get at other stores, in a rare event that I shop at another store, they're just plain white. So it's very pretty. And one thing they say not to do with the ceramic knives is to put it on top of the garlic and press on it. That's usually the way I cut it. Or another way you can peel it is to roll it in your hands like this, but my hands are really wet, so that's not going to work. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way, cut off each of the ends. More labor-intensive. Another thing you can do, anybody do this where you toss the garlic clove in a spinning blender and the outer casings come off very easily. You kind of have to pick at it, but that's another, if you're using a food processor, if you want to start doing it that way, you can. One more clove. And my next slide, I will make so much money I will be able to bring in an overhead camera and you can see everything. So we're cutting up the garlic now into teensy tiny pieces. Again, I don't want to overpower the dressing or the salad by having too much garlic. Do we have anybody who has any issues with garlic? Okay. Some people do. I mean, I always ask, and there's this one organization I do cooking demonstrations for, and they ask me not to use garlic, so just try and be sensitive there. Now, the smaller you keep your burgers, the less likely they are to fall apart. And back to our garlic. You can also make this in a blender, of course. Last week, or last month rather, I had two things plugged in, I guess my burner and, somebody came in and used the microwave while I was using my burner and it blew the fuse and they had to like call somebody, so I didn't want to risk that this week. Squeeze the juice of a lemon. Anybody have one of these nifty things? Yeah. So what we do is take the label off. Although I think it'll get squeezed in here, but get so much more juice out of lemon or whatever citrus you're squeezing here. And this was a little lopsided when it squeezed, so I'll reposition it and do take two. You can see how much more juice you get. And then we'll be using just a little bit of olive oil for our dressing. And let's get the tomatoes. Let's see how you guys are doing here. Smells good. Let's get the tomatoes in here. right in the middle, because they're so fiery red. And a little decoration around the edges. And I think part of, they say the way to a man is through his stomach, but the way to non-vegans is through their stomachs too. So as pretty and appealing as you can make a big dish like this, the better it is, both for, your own satisfaction, but just in trying to tell and show people that a vegan diet is not boring, that it's not monotonous. So many people think that. There's so many misconceptions out there. And, in the animal kingdom, it's pretty much brown, brown, and brown. So the more you can make a dish colorful, and when it's raw like this, as in a salad, you have an opportunity to really do a great presentation. We really just wanted to give you some ideas for going to a barbecue or a get-together where you might have an opportunity to bring something. And, it's all about us, right? It's all about me. So you want to have something to eat. So this is a way you can ensure that you do have something that is looking good for you as well. How many of you have Memorial Day plans to go to a dinner or lunch or something? Okay. All right, well then the rest of you should get together and have your own get-together.
We'll get their addresses.
Pardon? All right, these are starting to, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes roughly to cook these, and I brought a lid, but I kind of like to keep an eye on these, especially when I'm doing this multitasking thing of talking and cooking, preparing multiple dishes. All right, now, what are we going to use to be traditional? Buns, of course. These are from Rudy's Organic Bakery. We have several, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay. Get those going. I think half of you will eat first. Hi. Were you here for the class or just? Pardon?
I started late. Yes.
Oh, okay. No worries. I'm sorry we started without you. So you can use any kind of whole grain, bread, corn tortilla, it's all good. Okay, am I hearing bells in my head? I just didn't know. Let's see. I'm sure. I'm just going to do halves for now.
Did you mention the temperature for that skillet you have?
The skillet I have is an induction burner. It's magnetic, and so I have learned the hard way that anything above a 2, it's got settings all the way up to 10. I toggle between 1 and 2, or it just scorches the bottom. I'm also going to cut some onions, extra onions here. I did peel the skin off this onion, but that's rub it on the bottom here, so we'll take one more layer off. And if anybody wants to add more onions, I'm just going to leave these up here, knock yourself out. stay pretty warm as I serve up the rest here. Now I will cook all of the mixture here, so you guys can just keep eating until you are full. One of the cool things about this, I'm turning the burner off. I'm going to just wipe out the bottom a little bit. So I just don't want the oil to be really scorched here for the second batch. Hamburger grills should be so pure, right? Get the second batch going, and the rest of these served. I have a black bean burger recipe that I really like in Eat Vegan. And it calls for nutritional yeast, and I got the ingredients at another store, and I made it this week, and they didn't have nutritional yeast, so I experimented using, there are all these nut powders now, so I used, it was either walnut powder or, it's pretty amazing what they're coming up with. I think most of it is in response to this whole gluten-free stuff that's out there, which, you know, it is or it isn't. I think what I'm going to do, you know, we have a small enough group, I'm just going to go ahead and serve the burgers, and I'll just dish up the salad separately. So, pardon me? I can't hear you.
If you need help, you let me know.
Oh, yeah, sure. Feel free. There's ketchup and mustard over there if you'd like to come up and just serve these. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure your hands are very clean, right?
Yeah.
Just hold it from underneath.
Just to give to them, no?
Yeah, just give to other people, and then I'll dish up the salad with the different dishes here. And then just the rest of these that are served up. Oh, wanted to show you the salad before we mix it all up. So there you go, the orange salad. And you too can do this. And we'll get the dressing on the salad before I serve it up. Good idea. So we're just mixing it a little bit like that. And away we go. It was so pretty. We're like, make sure that everybody gets at least some salad first. If I go ahead and ask for your assistance. Thanks. Just wait for the second one here. Now some of you may get some big pieces of lettuce. Sorry about that. I used it for the decoration around the side. In an ideal world.
Sure.
You get a free meal, how about that? In an ideal world, you would have knives and you could cut your lettuce. I'm going to be very generous with these servings here. funny how, I don't know if any of you experienced this, but it seems like the second batch always cooks up better. What's up with that? This is so much more uniform. How many more salads do we need?
3 salad.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice cucumber, very thin.
Pardon me?
Nice, it's so thin.
You know, I thought we had more plates here. Are there any more plates?
You want me to ask him?
Trying to get, like, portion things out, so, there aren't any more on the counter here, are there? Yeah. Okay. Well, we may need to recycle the plates, so don't throw them away. We need 2 more salads, or just one?
No,
Just
okay,
you?
yeah.
Okay.
But I can use one of those plates and then I
Okay,
fix
good.
it.
Yeah. All right, so we have, how many burgers?
Oh, so maybe we should get, how many burgers?
5. Yeah, I mean, we can touch our plate.
We just put ours on
Yeah, on
napkins.
napkins.
Okay, great, all right.
More burgers.
5 more burgers? All right, well, we've got enough plates then, we're good. We're good. Okay. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah,